How's it going, fellas? Welcome to the Inspectorector Show.
Hello, everybody. We're doing something different.
We're doing a very special episode of the Inspectorector Show because today we have received some super intense leaks on the new Galar region Pokemon. That's totally true. All of it's true. I just made it up.
My dad works in Nintendo.
Yeah, and my dad works for her dad. Anyway, so we have just discovered what the new Pokemon look like for the Galar region, but we didn't take any pictures. So it's up to me and my amazing, totally awesome art skills in order to create from my memory what these Pokemon look like.
Right, and to help him, I set up a generator to help refresh his memory.
Yes.
On whether it's a legendary or a starter or an evolution,
And
what type it is.
Yes, and this random number generator, which isn't super random because it's just going to be jogging my memory.
Yes.
These are totally real, definitely not fake, definitely not being made up on the spot right now.
Absolutely not. No, this is all real.
Yeah, so it's up to you, Jinx.
All right.
What do these Pokemon look like? What are they? What am I going to be recreating today?
Okay, so your first Pokemon is single type. It is a grass type.
A single type.
And it is a regular Pokemon that does not evolve. It is like a Dunsparce.
It is a regular, non-evolving, pure grass type.
Yes.
All right.
Alright, let's see what you...
So, to jog my memory, So, Jinx, you saw this animal too, you saw this Pokemon too, right?
Uh-huh.
So, what kind of animal did you say it was?
It looked like a raspberry, I think.
Alright, a raspberry.
But it was like purple.
It was a purple raspberry.
So I guess it was more like grapes.
Yeah, that's what a raspberry looks like, right? You got some grapes there.
Take your time, dude. You don't have to take.
Yeah, this is the
the
preliminary stage right here. Current time is exactly 9 o'clock, so I have until 9:20 to create this. Or I'm sorry, recreate this because this is definitely a real Pokemon.
Its berries, its seed berry pod things were like eyes.
Yeah. Wait, no, I think it might have had kind of regular-ish eyes, kind of a really sorry facial expression because
really sad because it's a fucking raspberry.
Yeah, it's got like this kind of dinosaur chin because as you do, and I think if I recall correctly, it kind of had this kind of funky neck made of vines because it's a
grass type.
So it's a grass type.
Right.
So this is kind of. In fact, I'm getting an image. I think I'm getting a sudden revelation of what its name was, even though I never saw the name when I was in Game Freak Studio Deluxe of America.
Yeah.
It was named after a vineyard.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so it's got like these little vines here and little mini raspberries coming up, and this mini raspberry is enjoying his life even less. So. This is right here.
What's the name though? What's the name?
Geez.
You said you remember the name. It was named after a vineyard?
Let me think. So it's a vineyard-based Pokemon, but it's super sad. So, geez, help me jog my memory. What are other words for depressed or sad or
melancholic?
Wait, I got it. You know how grapes are used to make wine, right?
Yeah.
Melanalcoholic. That's it.
Oh, that's the name.
I remember. That's exactly what it is.
Write it down. You might want to write it down.
Okay. In the naming layer, which is totally legitimate,
Alcoholic.
I should add a melon then. There, that's the melon. It's got a tumor out of its head. Alcoholic. That's it. That's the Pokemon. Now, it's got this neck. Well, what about its body? Well, what if it's just a snake?
Yeah, I was thinking it was like a snaky.
Yeah.
It was like because the grass and snake, they just go so well together.
Yeah, there's snakes live in grass, and grass lives in snakes.
It's a grape snake.
Yes, it's a grape snake. It's with it's a raspberry, but it's made of grapes. So it's basically like a. Man, this is hideous.
No, don't say that to its poor little face.
Kill me!
Man, I didn't realize Pokemon got so dark with the lore.
Yeah, as it turns out, this is it's a single evolution, but it has a lower base stat total than Teddy Ursa, and I believe they made this decision to drive home that Pokemon's not all about battling. That being said, this Pokemon is ironically addicted to fights, and it's depressed by the fact that it never wins any fights at all.
Well, I'm sure that some like tryhard will be like, well, if you do the IV and EV training just like this, I'm sure you'll get it in like the top tier, like professional level.
Exactly.
Pokemon. Yeah.
So, I normally don't use color for the outlines, but I think it's appropriate here. We are going to be working on these kind of, these nice, kind of grapey looking constructions right here, kind of a grape situation. I'm gonna be drawing these grapes for a while. So, what did you hear about this Pokemon while we were touring Game Freak?
Well, I heard that it shows up only in like the lower regions, closer to and for some reason people in the Kalos region like to say that they invented this Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
But
it was
they didn't. They may have a couple trainers who know how to train it properly, but like they didn't invent melon alcoholic, okay?
Yes, in fact, if you will check the deleted scenes from Pokemon X and Y and the kind of like debug menu, you can still access this with an action replay code. You will see is a preview to this Pokemon, because it's a new Pokemon, but it had it made a kind of an appearance in the beta version of Pokemon X and Y.
Like Rhydon.
Yeah, where you can clearly see that I thought Rhydon was the first.
No, it was supposed to be the first Pokemon ever made.
Oh yeah. But I know there's some Johto Pokemon that kind of got pushed over to the Johto region. They were going to be in Pokemon Red and Blue. I'm getting beside the point. Point is, there's a deleted scene of when you first meet Professor Sycamore. He's grabbing one of these melon alcoholics and shoving them into a blender, with which he creates that famous Kalosian wine. And he says, Mon Dieu! And then he starts doing things that French people do, and you can kind of see why it didn't get included in the game.
Yeah, I can only understand that.
So, you may notice these, grape or blueberry, objects that are making up its head.
Can't you make this like a brush or something?
No, I don't know how to do that. What am I, some sort of artist? Anyway, so, as it turns out, these are not grapes, and these are not parts of a raspberry. In fact, these are tumors. You see, this Pokemon is highly cancerous, and if you touch it, you too will get the cancer.
Oh, what a horrible Pokemon that we're recounting here.
Yeah, but it's not our creation. We take no blame for this. This is entirely Reggie himself made this Pokemon as his last action of Pokemon, not Pokemon, the president of Nintendo of America.
Before he handed it over to Bowser.
Yes, the last thing he did was he made this miserable pile of tumors that we now call melon alcoholic. Now, as a matter of fact, if you go into the code of Pokemon Ultra Stars, which is the unreleased sequel to Pokemon Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun, you will actually find out that there's an Alolan form to melon alcoholic.
Oh, really?
No, I just made that up.
Oh.
Everything else about this, it's completely true, though.
Yeah.
But if there was an Alolan form for this guy, what kind of, what do you think would be going on with this dude?
Well, he'd probably be, like, green grapes?
Green grapes, yes. As we all know, green grapes only exist in Hawaii.
Well, I'm trying to... Maybe he'd be coconuts.
Oh, yes. Just like a whole mass of coconuts. And he feeds his children. Yes, the male melon alcoholics are the mothers. Or like they're
providers?
They're the ones who provide sustenance for the newborn. Even though it's a reptile and it uses eggs and does not...
Well, I mean, the mammals are born from eggs in Pokemon too, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. And all the eggs look alike. But anyway, this guy... Jeez, what did I design for this dude? Alright, I got it.
Well, you didn't design it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm doing an artist kind of recreation from my, my amazing memory. Anyway, so, this dude right here, he, well, in terms of, like, natures, 80% of these are male, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They are, each one is desperately looking for a mate, and they will actually fight each other, like not in person, but they will go into flame wars online about the nature of female melon alcoholics, saying that they only go for the ones with the really big and plumpy, juicy grapes, and that women, female melon alcoholics, they never go for the melon alcoholics with, you know, kind of raisiny grapes around their faces. And honestly,
I think you're getting a bit carried away there.
Yeah, I think this is all beta information.
Right.
It's entirely possible that they're going to change this later on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And it's entirely possible that these tumors might be toned down and, you know, kid-friendly. So, you know, what do kids love more than tumors? Quite a lot of things. Kids are...
Yeah, a lot.
Game Freak soon realized that, this thing is, it's not, you know, tumors were so last year, but, it's fine because, you know, I will always have this rendition of it, and, you know, it's these, you know, when those old Pokemon beta designs came out, and they realized they looked way different, well, people are gonna look back on my design and say, you know, this looks way better than anything that Game Freak could come up with.
True.
Pretty much ever, yeah. I feel like I should stop drawing tumors, so I'm just gonna say, let's move on, because right now, it's as much, you're gonna have to take my word for it, that there's a bunch of tumors here, because we're trying to do a show, and we have 10 minutes left, and I'm not gonna spend those 10 minutes doing purple circles.
No, please.
Hey,
don't.
shout out to the 2 people who are still watching this video right now. This guy actually has a green mouth, despite having
Yeah, like a leaf.
Yeah, except it's, you know, not a leaf, because it's way too neat.
Right, because it's a job.
Think about
like,
it. It is.
But you know, it looks like a leaf. Like you know how things look like whatever.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, most grass types are not made of grass; they are made of leaves. It's the strangest thing. Because have you seen a grass type that's made of grass?
Yeah, there isn't a grass type made of grass. What the fuck?
Oh, that reminds me. It's entirely possible, although we cannot confirm this, that one of the Pokemon we saw when we were visiting Game Freak was made entirely out of grass.
True.
I'll have to rack my brain for that one. Hopefully the random number generator can put me in the right direction.
Right.
Now, as a matter of fact, this thing eats so much fruit that it has just these gross yellow teeth. And, you know...
Actually, it's good that you're doing the colored outlines, because then you don't have to color it in.
Yeah. I was thinking of doing like a kind of a lighter color within these. But anyway, it's got these yellow teeth. And there are Pokemon dentists, but you know
I guess it's more like the pollen things, you know.
Oh yeah, these actually they're perfectly healthy teeth. Scratch what I said earlier, and they release pollen through their teeth by shaking their jaw and releasing like these spores all around. It is highly contagious, and as in they can actually try to reproduce using the body system of a human being, and it's terrifying. There's actually an extremely R-rated scene of one of these things popping out of a human's chest like a xenomorph. But then again, it's so cute. So can you really say it's inappropriate? One of these things, just kind of casually murder someone. You know, because they don't. Even though they like Pokemon battles, eventually they get fed up with losing all the time. So eventually what they do is they will consume their trainers and turn them into wine. But you know, it's all good. Because, I don't know, it's all good. So what do you have to say about that?
I think it's a very interesting direction that they're going in.
Yeah.
For this installment.
I believe there's a whole side plot where one of these guys eats Professor Oak, and you have to, I forget what happens next, but you end up in a piñata, and you have to eat 30 tacos in order to progress. I don't know how logically it got to that point, but I can only
Especially
assume.
since you're in the UK for this one, so
Yeah.
I don't know how tacos or piñatas.
As we all know,
which are both Mexican.
As we all know, that there is not a single Mexican person in all of England. I confirmed, I looked at every single English person just right now, just doing research before the episode because we're good commentators. And We are just doing an excellent job, and if you question us, you will receive a swift ban from our Twitch chat, followed by a formal report from the U.S. government, and we're going to plant drugs on you, and you're going to die.
Oh, I like how you're doing the tail. It's cute.
Yeah. It's got this kind of, it's actually, it looks like a worm.
Right?
But it's actually a snake, as a matter of fact. It's kind of like how an electric eel isn't really an eel.
Wait, it's not an eel?
No, it's not.
What is it?
I don't know. It's some sort of fish.
Well, yeah, that's what an eel is too, dude. It's a type of fish.
Well, you know what? I'll look it up right now. Actually, no, I won't. We're in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
But I'll look it up after the episode.
Okay.
Right, and I forgot to draw... Wait, I didn't forget to draw. I was just getting there. Little vines coming out of each one of these little dudes. And this vine goes into two because
that's the difference between a male and female. How many vines they have.
yes, females have fewer vines, but the vines have flowers. Because gender stereotype something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pokemon's progressive, but it's not that progressive. So...
Oh, sorry to rain on your parade here, but have you seen the thing with the fixing female versions of Pokemon thing where they just add boobs to everything?
Wow.
And lipstick
No,
and pink?
I have not...
Oh, and it gets so worse when they start doing legendaries, which are supposed to be genderless.
Yeah?
Yeah, so they did a female version of a genderless Pokemon.
So... I'm picturing, like, a female version of, like, Magneton.
Just pink. Pink and lipstick and boobs. Because some people just want to watch the world burn.
Okay. It's kind of looking like this is one of his arms right here.
Right, but it's not really an arm, is it?
Yeah, they're much too small to be arms.
Yep.
And these leaves actually have a very important effect.
You have 4 minutes.
Yeah, what that important effect is, I have no idea, but...
They're for solar beam. They collect sunlight for solar beam.
Yeah. And also, this leaf here kind of,
How
becomes...
does it move around with that many little, like, vines all over it?
Well, they kind of condense. And, this right here is a,
Why is it so big?
I will explain that in just a second.
Oh, God.
This is actually, as a matter of fact, a Type 3 rotating photon cannon that is attacked.
Okay, don't get it too out there, dude.
No, this is I'm not the one designing it. This is Game Freak who did this.
Oh.
I'm not the one who added a Mark III photon cannon to melon alcoholic. This is just how it works. It is it's real. You use this at the end of the game in order to defeat Mega Ultra Dynamax Mewtwo Pikachu.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Okay.
You actually use this in order to defeat Ryan Reynolds before he and Team Deadpool can use the Space Colony Arc to... I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and then you just erase the unreleased.
Yep, get rid of this, and boom!
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. It's
Melon
melon alcoholic. This is real.
Yep.
I definitely
Oh, God.
didn't just try to improvise this
Oh,
on the
God.
spot. Fellas, I just got a vision. There's another Pokemon that I forgot to mention that we saw when we visited Game Freak. This is actually a, according to the generator, according to my brain, this is a ground and ghost baby Pokemon.
Yep.
He's super cute, Jinx, I know I remember most of it, but I can't quite remember what animal it was.
I was thinking it was like a tombstone.
Ooh, it's a tombstone. Right, yes, because that contains a ghost in it, usually.
Of a baby.
Of a baby, and its tombstone is made of rock.
Yeah.
Which is close enough to ground.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh.
guess that could technically also be like a rock type. But...
Yeah. So, let's see. Let me lay down a preliminary sketch here. It's a baby, so it has a very round head, and kind of has this kind of like
What is that?
That is his jaw. I'll figure it out later.
Are you drawing a chain shot?
No, but it might resemble one because, Nintendo likes to reuse Pokemon. In fact, Chain Chomp appeared in Legend of Zelda. Link's wakes up on an island. Anyway, this is his tombstone right here. It's got like R, I, and you won't believe this, but it also says P at the end of it.
Wow.
Because it stands for Radical Impressive Pokemon. Radical Impressive Pokemon.
Cool.
His name is Radical Amon.
No, that sounds like a Digimon, dude.
Shut up!
No, its name is Rip.
Rip.
It's called Rip.
Yeah. And I don't have to write his name down because it's right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rip is a baby. It is a, let's start to level 1. It's not a starter Pokemon, but you can see it very early on.
Well, that and you can also hatch from eggs like all baby Pokemon.
Yeah. So, this kid, he is, his head is mostly made of dirt, but inside is a burning sort of, soul thing going on. I'll draw more detail in the next layer. But, it's got a burning soul inside of its jaw. Mm-hmm. And it's generally pretty miserable. It's got some other kind of rocks flying out of its... As a matter of fact,
yeah, that's cute.
Rocks kind of slowly float upwards from its head.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, I'm actually... As a matter of fact, this is a much better design than what Game Freak came up with for Melon Alcoholic.
Yeah.
Melon Alcoholic was a very unpleasant Pokemon. When they showed that off at Game Freak convention.
Yeah.
It was a hit with a collective kind of silence from the group. However, when they showed off this baby Pokemon, Rip, and at first it was just the little circle waiting for the big reveal, everyone's like, oh, it's a Chain Chomp, and then out of its head burst this guy, this big Rip symbol, and they announced the name, this is Rip, everyone's favorite dead baby.
Yep, so it was a dead baby that died as a baby.
Yeah, in fact, Jinx, how about you go ahead and explain its complicated Pokedex entries and its general backstory, and how this guy will show up at the Pokemon anime.
Right. So this Pokemon, because all ghost Pokemon are actually dead Pokemon or dead people. So Rip is a little tiny baby that died in babyhood, like the little tree guys.
Yes,
from
it was a real tragedy.
Yeah. But the game never addresses this, because it doesn't address Yamask or any of the other ghost Pokemon being horribly tragic. And it goes around wandering, looking for its mommy. They are also friendly with Bennets. They really like Bennets.
Yes, it is, they actually, despite their kind of terrifying appearance, they are not only very friendly towards other Pokemon, but they actually are very fond of humans as well.
Yes,
and they
especially women.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they want to find their mommy.
And also, they're total ladies' men.
Don't say that about children, man.
Alright, well, it's a Pokemon, so that makes it worse, actually.
And as for how it's going to appear in the anime, there's going to be this cute little sad episode, the one about the Litten.
I didn't see that one. I don't
sad.
Actually watch the anime, but
oh god, that episode was so sad. It's about a Litten who is raised by a Stoutland, and the Stoutland grows old and dies.
Ooh.
It's sad. It's sad. But then the Litten becomes Ash's Pokemon, so everything turns out fine in the end. This is gonna become the partner that Ash hangs out with Pokemon, because they really like Ghost type Pokemon. They're super into the paranormal, spooky stuff,
Yes. Now I've decided to portray the rest of its body. I didn't know the exact details. I couldn't see it very quickly because it's kind of like a blink and you'll miss it kind of moment in the convention. But it does have 5 fingers on each hand, which is actually a very subtle hint that this thing used to be a human.
Right.
But it also has these weird, freaky legs, and that's just how it be sometimes. double checking to make sure that I get balance to this thing. And, you know, one leg is a little bigger than the other. So I'm gonna fix that real quick.
Okay.
That's not a feature. I just screwed that up. I'm an artist, but I'm not a perfect artist. I can't get this right in the first try.
Yeah. Well, that's why you have multiple layers, man.
Yes.
I cannot understand how artists did art before software.
Yeah. Well, the bad ones were forgotten.
Okay.
Yeah. You can listen to like maybe 20 old good artists, and maybe like 10,000 artists today.
Right.
But of the artists today, most of them will be forgotten.
Oh, yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty simple design. There's actually not much detail on it because it's a basic Pokemon.
It's baby.
Eventually, it'll evolve into I don't know what's gonna evolve into.
It's gonna evolve into Ripperoni.
Yes, and it gets doesn't it get a chef hat? Does it get a chef hat?
Yes.
Or some other kind of regalia related to
Yes, it does.
Tell me more about this Ripperoni while I'm doing the better line art. Or I can.
No, Ripperoni is like, you know how baby Pokemon that have baby forms, they can either evolve from the baby or just start off as that Pokemon. Well, so can Ripperoni, of course. Normal Ripperonis are like dead chefs, but once they evolve from baby Rip here, they instead of finding a mother, they found a love of cooking.
Yeah,
it's great. They got chef's hat and they cook up with stone utensils.
Yes.
And they serve up rock toss, and they're good for support. They're good. They got a lot of support and status moves to them.
As a matter of fact, it's established that for Pokemon, they can make dishes out of dead plant matter, other types of fertilizer. However, in fact, they're very popular with grass types in that they can harvest fertilizer. Oh, I'm sorry, you must be coming down with the.
No, water went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, okay. Speaking of,
I'm so sorry, everybody at home.
Speaking of things we're not talking about, as I was saying, not only has it been shown to serve fertilizer to hungry grass types, but it can also cook regular human food, and is shown to be very good at it. In fact, through some very powerful transforming moves, not transform, it doesn't turn into another Pokemon,
no.
But it has the ability to transform dirt matter and other sorts of things found in the crust into edible human food.
Ooh, exciting.
Its hidden ability is crust conversion, where it can convert the Earth's crust into a pizza crust.
Oh, that sounds a bit dangerous.
Yes, however, it is perfectly safe. Only 3 people have died.
And it's like a healing ability for it's like in a pinch, your team in like a double team.
Yes.
Or triple attack or rotation battle.
Yes.
They can get like a 5% chance of not. It's like guts or something, you know?
Yes. So in its kind of plant-based exploit, it can score extra special points in Pokemon contests, which actually are coming
back.
Yes,
yeah.
Those are not only are they
excited
coming
for
back,
that.
but they are being upgraded, and now there is a cook-off in the middle of it. And if you have one of these guys, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Because,
well, not the baby Rip though.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's still working on it.
Well, yeah. It'll get you far, I guess.
Yeah.
Although they also one of the gym leaders this time around will have a Rip. Which is interesting.
Oh yes, as a matter of fact, the second gym leader after what's his face with the big muscles, they carry a baby Rip that they have decided not to evolve because it's so cute.
Oh yeah.
But they also have a Ripperoni alongside of it, and they form a duo of a chef and a chef's assistant.
Yeah, and it's like a not Gordon Ramsay. It's not him.
No, it is a very wholesome relationship. In fact,
yeah.
Before you can even, this is going into spoiler territory, so cover your ears. In fact, you can skip to the end of the video if you don't want to be spoiled.
They're watching us recreate leaked Pokemon, so I think.
Oh yeah, this is whole spoiler territory in the first place.
Yeah.
But anyway, I played a little of the game, and it turns out before you can even face the gym leader, you have to do kind of a side quest where you have to first you have to find the lost Rip. He gets kind of lost in a graveyard, thinking that each tomb is another Rip that's sleeping in the ground, which is unfortunate when it realizes that those are just dead people.
Oh man. Well, no, it'd be the Pokemon graveyard, because there's one every generation.
Oh yes.
Except for the last two, actually. That I think about.
Wasn't there a graveyard in
there was.
Alola?
Yeah, there was one in Alola, but there wasn't one in Kalos.
Because nobody ever dies in Kalos.
Well, I guess those monuments that were supposed to be like stone.
Oh yeah, those were all people who died during the war.
Pokemon War.
Yeah. Yep, Pokemon killed each other.
Yep.
But not this one. He just wants to cook.
He just wants to cook and be friends with people and find his mom.
Yes. So, once we have had a scrumptious taste of our water, which this guy is actually weak to because he's a ground type.
Right.
He actually, he prefers to work with oils rather than water. However, with the right tools, he can work with any element. And,
What are you going on about?
Dude.
Working with different elements?
No, working with different elements as in, like, he's cooking.
Oh, right, but that's Ripperoni that cooks.
Yeah, well, he's working on it. He's experimenting.
Right.
You see, when he's still in this stage, he's still struggling a little bit. So if he uses... He has the ability, and all the Pokemon in his line have the ability to use moves of all sorts of different types. However, in his first basic stage, he deals a small amount of damage to himself when he uses a move that isn't a ground type or a ghost type. So, for instance, he can use Flamethrower just fine, but it deals a little bit of damage to himself. However, when he is evolved, he has mastered the Flamethrower.
You have 6 minutes.
Yep. So, as a matter of fact, I've just noticed that when he evolves, you actually get to see a little cutscene of this Rip, kind of. The tombstone becomes a chef's hat.
Oh, that's so cute.
It is adorable.
But it's like still made of stone. It's like a stone.
It is a stone
chef's hat.
And if you go into the game's files and invert the model, Rip, R.I.P. is still engraved into the inner part of the chef's hat.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's a very nice, subtle nod to all those people who are otherwise filthy cheaters who go into the game's files and look at stuff like that. Because under the Rip, it is also a message saying, "Fuck you, sincerely, Game Freak." As a matter of fact, you can... There's a move that where he bends his head down and he shoots the tombstone at you. It's a signature attack. However, inexplicably, the tombstone reappears on his head because it's Pokemon and they don't take stuff
right,
too
like the
serious.
Mimikyu, you know?
Yes.
Like how you can knock its head over.
Yeah. But in the next battle over, its head is back.
Yeah.
So it's got these little dust things going on up here. And I'm not great at drawing straight lines, so this is gonna take a couple of attempts.
Well, you could like use a straight line.
But then it looks too artificial.
Right.
This is just a kind of an artist's rendition. It's kind of a sketch, kind of concept art. Even though concept art of this Pokemon already exists, and you will just have to wait for that when the game releases, coming out this November, whatever.
Yeah, wasn't it like November 17th?
I think it's 15th.
Oh, 15th.
So it's kind of got that.
Which is unfortunate because I won't be able to play because I don't have the Switch.
Yes.
I saw these leaks and that's all I get.
She went to the Game Freak HQ. She didn't even have a Switch, and instead of offering to get her a Switch at a discount, the entire staff of Game Freak all gathered in front of her just so they could laugh at her face.
Yeah, it was super humiliating.
Yes, but it was worth it because I was there laughing along with them. I'm a great friend, aren't I, guys?
Yep. You got 4 minutes.
I'm working on... All I have to do is the eye. And I might color this off screen just because I'm very fond of this design.
Yeah, I like it a lot too.
I think Game Freak did a much better job at this guy than the last guy.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like it could join like Lulu in the oh it's so cute club, you know?
Yes. Just a little more. It has a funny font, but I believe this.
It's kind of like the John Mulaney sketch about the happy birthday.
A big ass bee. It's with a little refinement. I believe this design can be really something that people will be drawing fan art of for years.
Oh, don't forget the little ghosty bits.
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Yeah. Well, you still got 3 minutes.
Yep. Well, 3 minutes is plenty of time to do the sort of ghostly, almost fire even, and certain ghost attacks kind of have fiery properties.
Yeah.
It kind of like revolves around here, and kind of like bursts out at the seams here. Of course, it's hard to do that without proper painting rendering.
Right.
All I can convey right now is that something's coming out.
Well, you'll do like full like renders of these later. Like,
Yeah.
On your own time, I guess.
When I feel like it.
Yeah. Well, be sure to like share them like with the internet.
Yeah.
When you do.
And it has kind of like this dark symbol on its stomach. It's kind of
Well, what if it's like see-through? Like, and that's another ghost spirit inside.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
its body's made of concrete, isn't it?
Oh, right. It is.
So this is kind of like this is actually a two-dimensional drawing of a soul symbol on its belly.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
I believe this is some sort of Japanese kind of like symbol.
Like
here.
wispy thing.
Yes. And, well, that is the design. I can color it later. But, say hello to Rip.
Rip. It's so cute.
He even has his own name tag. Alright, I've gotten one more vision. It is as a matter of fact, it is this region's pseudo-legendary, but it is the first stage.
Yeah.
This is a baby pseudo-legendary, and they went back and they made a pure dragon type.
Oh man, there hasn't been one since Gen 1, hasn't there?
I think actually
Well, no.
Axio was a pure dragon type.
Oh yeah, it was.
Not even with that, but he was cute. However, this Pokemon doesn't look much like Axio. In fact, what kind of animal do you think it was again? It was a little...
Well, it's a dragon.
It was hard for me to tell, because there's all kinds of different dragons. So how many...
I guess it was like a Chinese paper dragon.
Chinese
you know?
paper dragon. Yes, I remember now. It was maybe not paper. It might have been some sort of other.
Right, but it was the first stage.
Yes. So, it's actually not a super complicated design right here. It's got like kind of long, kind of almost snake-like body. However, it doesn't look anything like that other snake-like Pokemon we designed just a little while back. Because this one, it's not an alcoholic. It's not
No,
addicted to anything.
not at all.
And it's actually quite jolly. It's got like these long, or not very short legs, but 4 of them because it's a Chinese dragon.
It looks a bit like Trogdor the Burninator.
I don't know what that is actually.
You don't know what Trogdor the Burninator is?
How about you explain it to me in excruciating detail?
Oh my gosh, so it was a Homestar Runner gag from Strong Bad Emails. And it had big muscly arms and little tiny legs, and it was a snake, and it was Trogdor! And he burns down the thatched roof cottages.
Yes, I understand perfectly now.
I need to show you what Trogdor is, dude. Oh my god, I can't believe you don't know what Trogdor is. We're the same age. How have you not seen the most popular Homestar Runner thing? Oh my gosh.
You know we're still recording a video, right?
I know we are.
I've been fending for my own imagination. I believe this thing had a very nice forked tongue that it used. Now, actually, I remember. I remember. Jinx, what was the forked tongue on this dragon used for?
Well, it for what snakes do. It's like, and so it senses the air around it, you know.
Yes. And what does it sense in the air for?
Just to breathe and like to know its surroundings.
Yeah.
That's what a snake does.
Yes. And this dragon was doing the same thing. It's got this dragon-like body, but it's not very long, you see, because it's just the first stage. However, it is doing this totally radical pose with its arms, and it is pointing, kind of giving a pointing, accusing finger at whoever's
Now
standing
it's
in
kind of
front
looking like the Chad pose.
Give me a second. Alright, sorry folks, some technical difficulties. However, on the bright side, I managed to find out some concept art of this Pokemon, and it took a while because I had to sneak back into Game Freak HQ. But I found this concept art, and that'll actually help me because I was having a little trouble portraying this properly. However, I did an overlay of the concept art. I won't trace it, but I will take inspiration from the exact quote it had. So as it turns out, I had the legs all wrong. It is as a matter of fact, his name isn't a pun on anything. His name is literally Muscle Xiao Long. Muscle is his first name, and Xiao Long is his kind of surname. This is
I thought you weren't tracing.
I'm not tracing. See, look at these legs. They're completely original legs. However, it's taking the same pose.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, but I got this other pose the arm pose completely right. However, I completely forgot his most iconic feature, which was this gigantic ridge on his head. And this ridge...
Don't forget to write the name down in the corner.
Yes, thank you for reminding me, Jinx. Muscle... Xiao... Long. Neutral dragon type first stage. As a matter of fact, in its evolutionary forms, it gets more muscles. And it grows abs first, and then pecs, and then triceps, and then everything else until it becomes Chaticus Breakwind. So, anyway, but Muscle Xiao Long, it is, despite being a basic Pokemon, it is extraordinarily powerful. And is it actually uses Dragon Pulse by firing a Chad beam out of its beautiful muscle hair, and it is a rainbow because of course it is, which can also be interpreted as bacon. However, that's not kosher, and it is actually a Jewish Pokemon. So there is
it's a Chinese Jewish Pokemon.
Yes.
Okay. That's living in the UK region.
It might not be a dual type, but it is a dual raced Pokemon, and
okay.
you will respect it.
Okay, I'm not disrespecting it. I'm just.
Yes. In fact, I want to draw a Star of David on its horn, but I don't believe Game Freak included that because that was kind of
religion, and they don't do the
religion
thing.
because Judaism doesn't really exist in the Pokemon world except for this Pokemon. This is actually the only Jewish being in the entire Pokemon universe.
Okay.
Yes. That's totally true. I didn't make that up just now. Shut up. But it has like these nice cartoony teeth because it's still a first evolution. But it's got these muscly they're kind of scrawny arms because he didn't skip leg day, as you can see, but he did skip arm day. Let me incorporate the legs a little better into his design. There we go. Include the bulge, because of course you have to. This makes sense, I think. All of this.
I'm actually surprised they got the bulge in this game. E10.
Yeah. Actually, this is the deluxe version. If you pay an extra $10. Muscle Xiao Long is a bulge. That's what you spent $10 on.
Oh boy, so not like any like special Pokeballs or anything.
No, there's no extra content, but there is this bulge. And I think don't you think this is at least $10 worth of bulge?
Yeah.
Maybe 12.
I'd say $5, but I'm a cheapskate, so.
All right. Now, of course, it has a fairly chiseled chin. It's got this kind of nice gill pattern going along the back of its head. But I think I can't spend too much time on the details because it's time to do the official line art of this beautiful beast. Blink twice if you're afraid.
I'm blinking so much right now, my eyes are closed.
Alright. As you can infer, Jinx's eyes are not only open, but she is taking in the full splendor of this magnificent, beautiful alpha beast.
I can't take my eyes away.
Yes. It is, that's actually its ability. It actually causes the opposing Pokemon to never miss because they're constantly focused on it. However, at the beginning of every battle, they become instantly infatuated with this Pokemon, so they actually hit less than they normally would.
I see.
However, if their Pokemon is an asexual Pokemon, that's a new mechanic. Some Pokemon are actually asexual in the game.
Well, it's good that they're including this,
Yeah.
Diversity and all that.
Yes, so if you have a fabled asexual Pokemon, it's a 1% chance to encounter one. They are immune to its abilities, however, they will not get the accuracy boost. So it's the same as though they never had an ability at all.
Oh, I guess kind of like that one Intimidate move that only works on members of the same sex.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's like that.
Except it's about sexuality, because this is the male or female, man, Pokemon, woman, a living tombstone, alcoholic grape snake thing. Nothing can resist the infatuating lull of this blank stare.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Even Jinx is finding herself.
Oh, God.
Just maybe that's going too far.
Yeah, that's going a bit too far, mate.
I'm not sure Jinx is attracted to anything except for 2B's butt.
Not
But-
her butt. No, I think I'm one of the few people who aren't attracted to her, but I think she's a strong woman.
You said you wanted her to sit on your face.
I said that because she looks like she's strong enough to kill me with her body, alright?
And you want to die.
Strong women who can kill me in one hit really are great.
Yeah.
Not just women, like men who can kill me in one hit, like,
You got a thing for Gilgamesh from
fuck no.
Oh. That's a shame.
He's such an asshole. I just can't get over the fact that he called a Saber a whore.
But, that's beside the
So,
point.
you know.
As a matter of fact, nobody is called a whore in this game, but one person is called a doo-doo head, and that is actually the main antagonist of the story, calling you a doo-doo head when you defeat his Pidgey. For some strange reason, the first encounter with the main villain, he brings in a Pidgey.
Well, it's gonna turn into a Pidgeotto, which is like the best.
Actually, he mashes B every time he tries to evolve it. So even in the final battle, when he comes at you with the other version's legendary Pokemon,
Right.
you have to fight a Pidgey after it,
Okay.
and he hasn't leveled it up at all.
Great.
Yes, I've by now I've taken a break from drawing before doing this particular recording in order to play through the entire game, because not only does my dad work for Jinx's dad, who works at Nintendo, but we stole a copy of the game. However, again, these are all beta designs, so this is all subject to change in the final version of the game. For instance, the number of toes, I know for a fact the number of toes of this Pokemon will change in final release of the game.
Why the number of toes?
Because they got really tired of rendering too many. There are 4 toes here, but there are 3 toes in the final version of the game.
Right.
Due to some rendering issues, it's like how in in Super Smash Bros. They couldn't have the ice climbers in Smash Bros. 4. It's with the same thing with this Pokemon and the number of toes it has. The beta version had 4 toes, but it lagged a lot in certain key moments of the game. The key being when they zoomed in on Muscle Shenlong's crotch.
Right.
By the way, every time it evolves, the crotch doubles in size.
Oh God. It's already so big, and you're already paying like $10 for that.
Yes. In the cheap version of the game, instead, it recedes into a gap in where its crotch should be. And
Oh my gosh, that just reminded me of the freaking joke from Twisted.
But
The inverted penis joke. Holy shit.
so I'm just gonna do a little side illustration here. In the in the less expensive version of the game,
Are you sure you want to do that? You only have like
this is what its
you only have 2 minutes, dude.
this is what its body looks like in the free version of the game. It's got a giant gap where its crotch should be.
Oh God.
Anyway, so finishing up things here with its muscles, I think it is it's a very beautiful Pokemon. I'm going to have 5 of it on my team. The last one's reserved for Rip, because Rip is the most beautiful boy.
Right. I love Rip.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this thing not only does it use its long forked tail to examine its surroundings, it also uses it to lick everyone it is fond of. For any other person, this would be totally socially unacceptable behavior. However, its hidden ability, Mary Sue, allows it to do whatever it wants without any consequences. It's part of its charming kind of general persona. But anyway, here it is, complete, 100% canon, Muscle Xiaolong, and Muscle Xiaolong minus down here.
All right, all right.
So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for joining us on this journey, everybody.
I'm glad I could share today these leaked Pokemon designs, and tune in next time while.